this is like life goal shit. This is better than any money I've ever made, any car I've ever bought. When you connect with humans on a level like that, it's just a special feeling, and I hope I can do more of that in my life, you know?
It was a hell of a weekend, and you've been going pretty much wall to wall for weeks, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, so it all started with the road down to the road to air water. Um,
Yeah.
so I think I did, 4,500 miles over the last 3 weeks.
Does that include the original scouting that you did and have done?
No, that does not count any scouting. That's just the last
Okay.
3 weeks.
That's what I'm interested most in is scouting because I love that is my favorite part of Overcrest. Of all the things that Overcrest does, as much as I love seeing the smiling faces on people as you kind of reap the rewards of all the effort that you've put in, which is great. Well, that might actually be my favorite, but it is giving that to everybody. But maybe my second favorite thing is scouting because I love the discovery and I love the exploration of it. And I kind of want to get your philosophy on scouting now that you've done it and you've scouted a route. How did that feel? And how did it differ from like when you go out and you kind of drive around in the morning by yourself?
Well, yeah, so that's how I was going to start the story actually, because uh, the route planning for Daypass really what it was me turning my drives into and documenting them, like actually like making a route. Usually I just go out and drive, and I have a couple ideas of where I'm going to go, but I kind of just play it by however I'm feeling and stay out as long as I want to. So there are days when I'll come back for breakfast with my kids. There are days when I'm back at lunch. There are days when it's like dinner time when I get back. And the difference really was that I was documenting them for a certain time. I wanted to hit that, about 7 hours, 6.5, 7 hours drive time, and make sure that people could stop during the day and kind of have like a 10 or 11 hour day where they could hang out and explore some of the best spots in Oregon on the best roads with the best people. That's like, it was awesome. Yeah, I'm just still like tingly and tired, and
You
the
drive
post
around, you're like,
rally
oh,
blues are real.
I can't wait for people to see this. Like I can't
Yeah.
wait what people are gonna see when they get here. I
I
love
mean,
that. That is one of my favorite things. Is you're just somewhere and you're like, wow, everybody's gonna see this. I can't wait for them to feel how I felt when I saw or discovered XYZ.
yeah, and like when I was scouting those days, I was like posting pictures on my Instagram, and you know, I think if people were smart enough to correlate it, like my Instagram account is
The
from
route.
the last, like, since January, is the rally route
Right.
essentially. And if people got wise to it, they knew we were going to the coast. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't know where really, but there's a couple pretty famous landmarks on my Instagram now, so uh, they could figure out a couple points, but not the way we were going to get there. And that was like the best part for me was like hearing that people had not been on some of these roads, and they're all like right here. They're all within an hour of Portland. That's where they start. And we all live in Portland, and some of these guys had never seen that stuff, and that's magic.
Yeah. I mean, I
Even I
asked a
had
couple
never seen
people,
some of that stuff.
hey, how many new roads was there for you guys? I asked that question a lot. I'm like, how was your experience? What was fresh? What was new? Everybody said about two or three roads.
Yeah,
Like two or three roads were like really special and really new for them. And
yeah,
being able to give somebody that new experience in their hometown is pretty special.
yeah. It's finding these gems, and I really can't say enough about that Onyx off-road app. That's how I really found like some of those connector roads that I had
Yep.
never known about, because you kind of do the main dope one, and then you like get to the next dope road by a main road. But
Yep.
some of those connectors that I found wouldn't have been possible without Onyx. So I just want to thank Josh Spitzer and his team for that. That was like how my mind truly opened. That was like the third eye on my forehead going, and being able to see like all this stuff I've never seen before. It was incredible.
Steve, this is perfect. Usually I have to do really corny like lead-ins to my sponsor ads. So would you say, Steve, that Onyx is the best app for navigating your adventure?
I've never seen anything like it. Honestly, I've used the other ones on these guys' rallies, and like I think each one of these apps has like little quirks and whatever. But once you kind of like learn the quirks, You can work around them pretty easy. And Onyx as a discovery tool is unmatched. It's unmatched. It's like being able to like zoom in 3D, rotate the screen, see different views. You can even see like who owns the property. Like it's kind of nuts, like how much information is
You
in
can
that
judge by
app.
their name, or you think they're gonna have a shotgun or not to come out on that in their driveway and shoot at you as you drive by.
Yeah,
Or if it's
actually,
like
we should we
Cletus,
should get to a story that Stephanie and I saw, but
Oh boy.
one of those rural roads, there was a very angry local standing in his driveway with an AK-47. Yeah,
wow.
that was like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's Oregon, right? Like,
Yeah.
that was like kind of scary to see that he was a little upset by some loud cars driving by his house all
Yeah.
day.
It's
Well,
interesting because we went to that gas station that was, I don't even know where it was, man. I was riding along, so I had no perspective of where I was at any time. I was a bad co-pilot because I wasn't even navigating. I was just like chilling. But the gas station said like Glock on it or something like that, and this
Team
big
Glock.
Team
Yeah.
Glock.
yeah.
And this is absolutely decrepit gas station. The place should be torn down. It's so falling over.
Hey,
And
here's what I have to say about that place. They sell non-ethanol gas for like $4.50 a gallon. I filled up. Boom. That was awesome.
non-ethanol gas, guns, and pornography,
Yeah.
What else?
All in one
do you,
place.
What else
and
do you
caffeine.
need? What else
Yeah.
do you need?
Caffeine. So
And fried chicken.
the guy.
All right,
from
you guys,
God knows where.
you guys are off the rails. Hold on. Can I please try to like bring us
No,
back
I have to
a
finish my
second?
story.
All
No,
right, just
no.
do that and then pass it to me.
Okay, I'll do the best I can. So, me and Andrew, who I ended up riding with, and we'll get to my whole story arc later. But I should probably just insert this into the story later. But we're
Yeah,
already
you
here.
should. And just give me a second here.
Okay,
Because what I
fine.
was going to
That's
say.
the teaser.
Yes,
That's the teaser is
perfect.
going into this
yes.
gas station.
So Onyx Off Road, try
Does
it
not tease you.
free for 7 days. You, Steve, used the route builder. They have waypoint marking. They have real-time updates. You can do offline mode. Did you know there's even like a cell service layer so you can see when you're in and out of service? And like
Yeah.
wildfire
It's
things.
just,
Ton of different features. Awesome. They obviously support what we do. Check them out. Okay, so
wait. Let me say one more thing about them before we get to the
Please
next
do.
thing. Because I know
Please
we're
do.
going to go off the rails here.
100%.
But the other superpower that Onyx has is the route building capability. You can literally put as many points as you want on a route. It traces the way there, or you can like modify, add different sections in. It's like super incredible and super easy, intuitive interface to use. I think it's easier on the web than on the cell phone right now, just because it's like so small in your hand. But if you use the web app and then, use the nav on your cell phone, it's just incredible. Like I couldn't believe it. So that's the last thing I'll say is just building the routes was ultra easy, highlighting them in a color, like all that stuff, and then
it's
sharing
a pain
it.
in the ass for me. It's always been a pain because I have to go into Google Maps, make a bunch of layers, and then like export a KML file and do all this stuff, and then import it into these other things, import it in the app, and it's always been a nightmare. So I have not yet planned a route with Onyx, but when I go scout in June in the area that I'm going to be scouting in, for the fall rally, which I guess we should announce that pretty soon. I almost did. I
know.
did.
Yeah, no.
I know. I was waiting
anyways,
for it to slip.
Yes.
No,
Onyx.
I slip all the time.
It's
But I'll be using Onyx this time. For sure. So, Steve, I wanted to get your.
You guys are so just.
I'm
off
getting
the
back
rails.
on track right now.
I know what I'm going to say. So here's what I wanted to say. I
Okay.
wasn't at this event, which was last weekend, which was the Overcrest Donuts and Trips Daypass Rally. Some people don't know this, Kris, because we didn't intro at all. And so I think what's going to be great is that I have the perspective now to kind of ask questions, and you can actually tell me your accounts of the story for me.
I think you made a mistake
listeners.
by not coming. I think you. For everybody that's listening, Jake does like a ton of work behind the scenes, and it's kind of like grindy stuff, like programming things and ticketing.
Yeah.
It's really important that you get the payoff of going and seeing the fruits of your labor.
Right.
It's like being a farmer and having someone else farm your land and then watching the guy drive the tractor from your window in the kitchen. You know,
That
you don't
sounds
get
great.
to like,
No, it's the
that would be
what it is. The analogy is you're driving the tractor, you're doing all the work, and someone else like reaps literally the crops, and they are the ones
yeah.
harvesting everything.
Yeah, and you're not eating from your own crops.
Right, you don't get to eat
you're
it.
buying Oscar Mayer
Yeah.
wieners.
You don't get to
And
see people eat it. You don't get to go to the farmer's market and display your wares.
it's true.
Which I
and
did
I
not,
think I
but
think
that was
that's
fine.
a because sometimes Jake gets a little sad. And like we went out to the day or the Redux last year was a lot of work, and we're doing a lot of things and always doing all these different things. And I remember being at that crappy car wash in next to the
Yeah.
airfield before
Yeah.
day 0.
Yeah.
And you told me, you said, Kris, I am so glad that I am here because I get to feel it and see it and experience it. I'm paraphrasing, but because I don't remember exactly what you said. It was probably more analytical than that. But you were very happy that you were there.
Okay.
And I think that you should not miss an event like this because it was truly special. And I got pretty much all the same good vibe feelings that I got from doing the regular Overcrest rally.
Yeah.
Where people are coming up and saying, thank you. This changed my life. I'm so glad I got to get out and explore with you guys. The route was amazing. Yeah, it was really
the variety
special.
of cars looked really cool too. That's one thing I was like, oh man,
it was wild.
Yeah,
variety was wild. Steve, I have one question on contrast for you. Going into the event, planning it, let's say it's Friday morning, and we got together Friday night at Shieldman to get together, but it's Friday morning. What are your expectations then versus how you feel now and how it went? How did that change? I'm sure there's all kinds of things that come around that aren't expected. How did that perspective change, and how do you feel about doing more stuff like this? And what do you look forward to that you didn't maybe know that you would look forward to?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. So I think I'll start off by just saying, like, in my life, just for work and all these things, I've traveled a lot. And so when you travel like that much, like sometimes it was like 4 or 5 months a year, um, you're kind of ready to expect the unexpected, right? So I go into a lot of situations and I'm just like, all right, it's about to happen. I have some thoughts about how it was going to go. And some of the thoughts were like true and like how it went. Some of them were not, like, um, the one thing I'll say is, I don't think the rally community truly has a, um, a good perspective on how much work it takes to put one of these things on. I got a picture behind the scenes doing this with you guys, and uh the time it takes is just astounding to get it all done. And organizationally, probably I'm not like the strongest person. I'm more of a creative. And for me, like, that was just a truly unique experience to just start to learn what it takes to do this. And you guys know this well. I've told this story on the podcast, but this kind of stuff is all I really want to do. Like, formerly as an attendee, but the truly special part, that I used to get sometimes when I made a shoe and like people liked it and came up to me and like, gave me a hug and appreciated it. But the truly special part for me on this rally was being at Helvetia Tavern, and the first guy that showed up, we did a big speech about, hey, if you're first, you're last kind of thing, like, but this guy wasn't last. I think he had the best day. And when he gave me a hug, he just broke into tears. And that to me was just like, well, we did something special here. And, I like to put smiles on people's faces. But when you can like hit somebody's emotional core like that with an experience, I think I'm like hooked on that feeling now. And that's really what I want to do.
Yeah, man, that's it. I mean, it's truly.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you could probably see the emotion. Like, it's truly like,
I used to cry at the morning.
It was
meetings,
a special
man.
thing.
I used to cry at the morning meetings. People have seen it. I
Yeah.
can't. It's an emotion that is difficult to understand, and it's overwhelming because you have these people that are having these not unique, novel experiences to them, and they're all coming up to you and emotionally unloading on you on how much something changed your life, and it is an overwhelming amount of emotion. It's truly a special thing. I feel really humbled that
Yeah,
I get to do this, that we
it
get
was
to
such
share this with people.
it was such a special feeling. And I think, like, one of the things that, as I've aged now, I'm 45. I try to approach a lot of situations with kindness, all the time first, right? Um, and I wish more of the world was like that. I'm sure we'll be talking about that. But for me, just I kind of lost my track of thought there. Please edit this out. I'm just like, there's just so many thoughts, but like the whole like here's where I was going with it. All right, you can pick it back up now. Here's where I was going with that.
I think you're
Um,
fine. You're
yeah,
okay. We're
yeah,
we're off
yeah.
the cuff here. There's a lot of emotion. It's all good.
For a lot of people, myself included, because I feel this at a deep level with my back injury and being in pain all the time, and that affecting my mental attitude. Like, let's just be honest with that. Um, you really never know what somebody is going through in their life, and we have a common interest. That's why we all came on the rally. But for some people need it more than others. I am somebody who needs it bad. It's it's it gives me the feelings I used to have when I snowboarded. It lets me explore. Um, it puts me in a zone where I truly am in complete focus on the car, and I lose everything else. And like, that's a cliche story. Like, people tell it all the time, but that story is so true. Um, but like, so for some people that really need it bad, that's who we're here for.
Yeah.
Um, and me, experiencing it from the outside, learning that this is what I really want to do, and then being able to now pr- provide a platform and help you guys put one on. Wow. I mean, like, this is like life goal shit. This is better than any money I've ever made, any car I've ever bought. But I do love that car. um, but you know what I mean? Like, when you connect with humans on a level like that, it's just a special feeling, and I hope I can do more of that in my life. You know?
Yeah, me too. I mean, it really comes down to, you know, everything that we do grows out from the roots of giving people these experiences. Whether it's the Daypass, Sports Car Vacation Land, Air Water, the rally, everything that we do grows out of that foundation of the emotion that you're talking about. And it was something that, I stumbled across and had for that feeling that you're where someone comes up to you and tells you these things. I mean, Jake, it must have been 15, 20 years ago when I first got that feeling
Yeah.
from someone. And I didn't really latch onto it right away. I was doing car show things and charity events and all this other stuff. And then we went out and um we did an event here in the Mississippi River Valley, which was cool. And then we went out to Utah and had like these monumental experiences with other people.
Right.
And I think when you have these experiences that are this emotional and you're sharing them and you're having the same, everybody inputs it differently, but it's still a very similar experience. Um, it almost amplifies the experience when you're doing with other people. And I think that it becomes almost like a feedback loop of emotion, and you link up and you understand that you're making friends with, like you said, not everybody has like these experiences and these feelings, and that's okay. You can go out there and just have fun too. There's a lot of times when I just go out and I have fun, I drive around, that's great. And there's some times where it really moves me, and it depends on where you're at in your life and what's going on with you, and what station you are. And everybody's carrying different things around, and sometimes they come with you in the car and sometimes they don't. All right, I'm rambling now. I'm trying not to get too over emotional as well. I mean, I cry at almost every rally, so Jake can attest that I get it, man. It's really special, and people don't understand until they go. They don't know. But
Mhm.
now you've been got, man. You've been got.
I'm
And
hook, line, and sinker. You guys got me.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about my adventure and my story, and you guys can just ask me questions or punch me in the face or whatever it is as I go through this. Um, I was in Jake's shoes a little bit, where I was starting to go, man, I'm away from home a lot this year. Whether I've been out to scout for Sports Car Vacation Land twice, like 2 weeks there. It's going to take me 2 weeks to scout the rally. That's a month. I've got the Daypass. That's 3 days. I've got the Air Water. That's 3 days. That's another week. Now we're at a month and a half. Then we've got the rally. That's another week or two. So all of a sudden you're gone for 2 months, and I go, okay, I gotta like, which one of these can I not go to, and it's okay? Which one can I not go to? So I had chosen Daypass. I said, I'm not going to go to the Daypass. I'm going to pick that one, and I'm gonna bail. And it felt really bad to say, like, because I've never not been at something. It felt really bad. And I talked to Steve. I don't know if it was on the phone or it was on one of our calls of planning. He's like, dude, you got to go, man. You got to go. You got to go. You just got to go. And I'm just like, fuck, man, I got to go. I guess I got to go, don't I? And I talked to Jesse and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm going. But now I need something to drive. I can't. It's so expensive to ship cars back and forth. To ship my car out to Oregon and back is what, $3,000 or $4,000, Jake?
It's a lot. I mean, shipping is not cheap for sure.
Shipping is not cheap.
And I need to like explain a little bit or put a caveat. Like, our mantra is always take the car, like drive there. The road to the event is just as special. But as an organizer, I think we just established like our time anymore. Is so.
When it was just the rally and it was just one event, I had no problem doing it. And I really enjoyed it because I'd always fly my kids out and they'd drive home with me and stuff. It was great.
Right.
But I'm already gone 2 months out of the year. I just cannot. I just can't drive around that much. I just can't. I miss it terribly. Right. I need that time. That time for me is defragmentation. Jake can probably attest to the fact that when I'm in the car, all of a sudden I'm texting him like ideas and everything. It's almost like being in the shower for some people, where like all these ideas start to come to your head. But there's something, especially, I have a radio in my 911 now. I didn't used to have a radio in it.
I still don't.
So I would do all of these trips. We're thinking 10 years ago, I'm doing these huge road trips across the country with no radio. There's Spotify doesn't really exist. I don't have Apple Music. I might download an audiobook or something, but generally I'm just driving around and it's just quiet. And I guess I do miss that. I haven't done that in a long time. As you become acclimated to the way you do things, now I listen to music. So now it feels weird not to listen to the music, but if you never had it in the beginning, you're just driving around in silence. And those moments are really good. You get to think and you get to slow down because, as we all know, life.
Yeah, it's really a meditative state where you're able to actually focus.
I have to ship. Moral of the story: we have to ship the car sometimes. Which sucks. I don't like it. It's just, it is what it is. We all got families, and it is what it is. And so I left it to. Jeff said, "We'll get you a car. We'll find you a car." And I thought for sure. I was walking with Kenny the other day, and we did some filming and stuff like that. And he's like, "What do you think it is?" And I thought it's one of two things. I thought for sure it was going to be a 912. For sure. Because
this is the man that loves to rip on the 912.
Rip on 912. And the reason is, I've been through this. There's no point. There's no point to a 912. Yeah. Other than money, there's no point to a 912. That's it. There's literally no point. And that's okay. That's just my opinion. I know people love their 912s.
That is an opinion.
I don't care that you love your 912. I am so happy that you have a car that you love to drive. I truly feel that way. I'm not just like sidestepping my super shitty opinion and trying to like make you like me more. I truly think there's no point to those cars. I remember driving one once, and it was most well set up car. Like it was a Benton 912, like brand new hot 912, and I traded with someone. And I went and I drove his car. I'm like, man, this thing's pretty cool, pretty nice. And then I got back into my car. And I'm like, nah, no way, can't do it. And this is when my car was not the engine that it is now. It was just like a stock SC engine or whatever. Anyway, I thought for sure it was going to be a 912, like they were going to punk me with a 912. They're going to make me drive the car that I've been bitching about for a year. I make memes. We can put some of the memes up on the screen. I'm always making memes about 912s. And generally, it's just fun. You know, when I make a meme about a 912, all the 912 guys message me and they're laughing and we have a joke about it, right? This is not like life-threatening, you know, vitriol. I'm just kidding around, you guys. Okay, I'm just kidding around. And the other car I thought it might be is a Beetle, because I thought maybe it'd be funny. Like, I'm always bitching about 912s and how slow they are, so then they give me a Beetle, and then
I wanted to do a Beetle, yeah,
and I'm stuck in a Beetle, which I would have loved to have driven either one. I think it would have been a lot of fun driving either one of those cars. Let me play this clip, which is the reveal where I saw the car that they got me for the first time. Jake, are you ready? You seem like you're about to say something.
I'm ready.
You're ready. It's coming?
It's coming in 60 to 90 seconds.
Oh,
it's coming. It's coming.
Oh, jeez. All right.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
It was at that moment that I think I played off pretty well, but I was in total shock. I'll let it keep going, but it was at this moment I was in complete and utter total shock. I kind of likened it. I was talking to Jeff later. I think I was standing next to Steve. I'm like, it would be like going on a date, like a blind date. Like, all your buddies have their wives, and then they're like, I know you don't want to be the third wheel. Amanda's got a friend. She'll bring the friend. Don't worry about it.
Got it. Yeah.
Well, she'll bring the friend. And then Amanda walks in, and you're like, she's totally not my type. Right? Maybe you like blondes.
It's a good way of
saying brunette.
Yeah.
You're not into fat chicks. Whatever it is, you're just not necessarily into it. And but hey, what are you gonna do? Right? What are you gonna do? Come on, man.
Chris.
However, could you imagine doing this at the blind date? The girl walks in and you're like, come on, man. What are we doing?
Chris, this car is a Gambler 500 legend.
Oh, my God.
It'll do 100.
It'll do 100.
It's all built. Like, it's built, dude. It's got a turbo, it's got a transmission, it's got everything. It will hit jumps, it will go through mud, it will go through puddles, it will go through water.
So, safe to say I can take this on the gravel route.
Yeah.
Give me the walk around.
Chris,
Tell me about
give
this
him the
thing.
walk around.
I'm
Chris, Trevor.
So this is Trevor. He's the one that built this car. And he I believe he built it, Steve, right, for the Gambler?
I think so. I mean, like, it's just such a similar style to Tate from the Gambler 500's car. I just figured those guys were linked up, you know?
Yeah. All right. I just was like, I wanted to meet him, shake his hand, and then he tells us a little bit about the car.
Trevor, nice to meet you, man.
You built this?
I did, yeah.
Why?
7-8 years ago, I was dreaming about today, and I thought that'd be a good one. No, why not?
Well, that's the right answer.
Had buddies that had side by.
That is the right answer. When you look at this car and you say, why did you build this? It is a why not car, right? It's like, well, why not? Well, you have an idea. You just, why not? You know, I've done why not shit all the time. I'm going to put an M3 engine in there. Why did you do that? Why not? The other engine sucked. Why not? That is the 100% right answer why you build a lifted Miata, I think.
By sides, and I was like, I don't know, like, you guys get to use those like 4 times a year, so I wanted to build a street legal side by side, and street legal ish. So it's turbocharged. It'll do 100 with one finger on the steering wheel.
That is a large turbo.
Yeah, it does okay. It makes like 13 psi boost, 212 wheel horsepower.
So the cool thing about this thing is that all the whole suspension is all kind of like custom, and the struts are like these long travel struts. Like, they are like legit custom. It's not, it looks kind of rough, like the car, and it's, you know, there's things about it that you can tell it's just been beat on. That's the purpose of this car, is to just go out and have fun. But like, if you look under it, the axles are custom because everything's pushed out. The axles are custom. The control arms are custom. We talked about like the big tires, right? changes your ratios on your
Right, your
transmission
effective final
drastically.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do? You need to change the final drive. So I'm like, what's the final drive in this thing? He's like, oh, it's like a 5 something. Like, how did you get a 5 something ratio rear end? He goes, it's out of like I don't remember. It was like the front differential or something from a Kia Soul.
Or a Ford Escape or something.
So I think it was like and it
Weird.
fits in, I guess autocross guys figured this out or something.
Oh, sure.
But I just who put like who at one time had like a Kia Soul differentials sitting here with a ring and pinion, and they also had one from a Miata, and they were on the same workbend.
And they're like,
some
"Wait
guy
a
went,
minute.
holy shit, those are the same thing.
Tired 200,000 mile stock Miata motor that we introduced boost to, and probably got 15, maybe 20,000 miles on it in this configuration.
Really? Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm okay. It's gonna make it.
Oh, it's gonna make it. Yeah,
it's gonna make it. Okay.
It's arguably the most reliable.
It got cut off there. He says the most reliable thing I've ever owned, which is a little bit of foreshadowing. I got this other clip too that Jeff sent me, which is of this thing is super dope. I was really looking forward to being able to do that.
That's so ridiculous.
It's so
Unreal, dude.
It's
Unreal.
let's watch it again. It's so ridiculous. Look at this. I mean, how much air are we getting here? Hold on. What do we got? That's a lot of air. Look at that. That's got to be. This thing is 7 feet in the air.
That's Dukes of Hazzard stuff right
It
there.
is Duke's. Well, now we're at a freeze frame. It's super. So when you look at the way that this suspension handles that, it's pretty rad. Obviously, the struts are like able to handle this kind of stuff. So I'm sitting here going, Jake, what's the other car in my head? Let me hold on. I'm going to back up a little bit to pre-912. What was the car that I used to hate on the most?
You used to love to hate a Miata. And so when Steve initially told me, because I wasn't really involved in this, I'll say, and I heard, oh yeah, we got Kris's car. What is it? It's a Miata. Perfect. He loves to hate those. He's gonna have to drive one. I love it. And then I saw this, and I was like, well, this is a whole nother level.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely felt like when the car showed up that it almost, I felt like I was getting punked a little bit. Which kind of felt a little weird. But I think I would have felt better if I had gotten to pick someone else's car. Like if Jeff, I got to pick Jeff's car and Jeff got to pick my car. I got to pick your car, Steve, and you got to pick mine. But I was kind of like a real fish out of water here because it's so far removed from what I'm used to driving. But yes, I do not like Miatas generally. Every Miata owner, I feel like this is not really a Miata anymore. It's so far removed from Miata land.
What it used to be, yeah.
From what it used to be. But I always feel like the Miata guys have a little bit of a Napoleon complex. They're always kind of like, this is the best handling car ever, my happy little car. And they always have the little Explorer hat on, like the little
they do.
straw hat. And
they do for some reason.
and they do. And I saw one driving around in Oregon while I was there. I forget who it was. It might have been Andrew going, hey, look, there's a Miata guy with the hat you always talk about. And he zoomed by. I'm like, see, I knew it. Anyway, so we hung out and I had some pork and some beans and some conversation. And the entire time my brain is just churning. Like, what am I going to do? Because I'm not really a content creator, at least not outside of the podcast. I don't really just create content. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't generally do that kind of stuff. Jeff wanted me to try and create this stuff. So I'm not like your typical influencer content creator kind of guy. So my brain is thinking like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to do? What am I going to do here? And, I was kind of in my brain going, fuck these guys for giving me this car that's so far out of my comfort zone. And I realized, and I think it's in this clip I play later too, is I realized I was taking myself way too seriously, right? Like I was like, why can't I this is and I'm always harping about novel experiences, right? Like, have a new experience, try something new, get out of your comfort zone. And I started to feel a lot better, and I started getting really excited about being able to drive this car because it's cool. Travis is cool. He was excited to give me the car, which is like, I've built cars. When you look at that thing, you can tell an enormous amount of time and effort went into building that car, and him giving it to me and trusting me with it was a massive leap. So I felt like this huge sense of responsibility. I found it pretty unlikely that I was going to try and jump that car. Pretty unlikely, just because it's not mine. And if I did, it would be like a like just a little like, nothing like you see in the clip. I just wouldn't have done it, just because it's just not mine. I don't really like driving other people's cars to begin with, because I'm always worried something's going to happen. Even if it's not your fault, you always feel kind of responsible if something happens while you're driving it. Or that's also why I don't work on other people's cars too. Generally, because usually I screw something up, like set someone's car on fire in my driveway, which I did last year. Which is not good.
Oh yeah. Welding. Yeah.
I was welding on someone's car, and I went through a fuel line that was plastic, and there's like, I was like, why is it going foomp, foomp, foomp? Because there's welding slag in this fuel. I had to go get the fire extinguisher. First time I've ever used a fire extinguisher there. So I don't like working on other people's cars. I don't like driving other people's cars. Just because it makes me nervous. All right, let me. I got a clip here of the next morning, leaving the Airbnb.
5:15 a.m. on the way to the Daypass. Man, I don't know. I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm trying not to take myself too seriously. I feel like I'm taking myself a little too seriously with this car. When I imagined what it would be, I was thinking something that in this box of Kris, what I would think is cool. I would never build or do something like this. And I have to admit, I'm kind of excited to see what the day will be like, because it's just going to be such a... I always kind of harp on about novel experiences and trying new things and having an adventure. And this is an adventure, that's for sure.
It was... It scoots. It really actually does with those big tires on there. It scoots pretty fun. And I think, rewinding back to the night before, when I left with Stephanie Smithwick, who works with Overcrest now, she's amazing, wonderful human being, one of the most wonderful human beings I ever know.
Best co-driver ever.
Oh yeah, you should. Yeah, you got some stories
about
too.
That.
We realized we forgot to get donuts, which is like, holy shit, how do you forget to get donuts to go to the Donuts and Drip Overcrest collaboration rally? Like, oh my gosh. So and we weren't that far away. So I stopped in the middle of the road, pulled over. It's like a 4-lane highway. It's 9:30, no one's around. And I just whip a huge drifty shitty, turn around to go get donuts. And I had the biggest smile on my face. I'm like, man, this is going to be pretty cool. And for some, the radio was stuck on like old school hip hop and mixed with Mariah Carey, whatever radio station this was. So I like had the radio cranked. Steph is having a good time. I'm like, this is going to be fun. Like I was pretty excited. I'm going to play, let me see. Do I have this clip? Did I not upload this one? Do an ad quick, Jake. Run through.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about. I don't know what kind of tires are on that thing, but potentially
Buckshot twos. Buckshot twos.
I don't even know what those are. It should have been Nokian tires. They, of course, are the inventor of the Hakkapeliitta, the winter tire itself. They also have some really cool all-terrains that I had on my Cayenne for a while. They also now have just officially launched their newest tire, one we're especially excited about. It's the AS01. What sets it apart is a high-performance all-season tire made specifically for drivers who want the most out of their cars without sacrificing capability when the roads do happen to get slick, as they do. Steve, you, I'm sure, have always been out driving, and sure, you want to have fun and have some performance out of your tires, some grip, but if you happened to be on like an R compound or some dedicated summer tire when you were in the mountains, things would have gotten bad. So
Mhm.
that's what is really cool about this tire. You kind of have the best of both worlds. And let's face it, a car can only perform as well as the tires on it. So check out the Surpass ASO1. Offers grip of the dedicated performance tire. Won't leave you stranded if the road or weather gets rough. Check it out at nokiantires.com/surpass.
Andrew had really loved his Nokians because he
Yeah,
was
you
in
were on
gravel a
Nokians
lot.
for a while.
Yeah, and he was talking about how the sidewall actually makes a hell of a difference from the Yokohamas that he had before. And he was talking about the Aramid sidewall is
It's an
underrated.
Aramid sidewall, Steve. It's
The
bulletproof.
stiffness of because that's part of your suspension, as you know, the sidewall.
Definitely.
So having the stiffness of that be increased on a higher profile tire is hard to do. So
Yeah.
he really liked the stiffness of it. So here we are. We're driving. We go to the meetup, which was beautiful. It was at Hag Lake, which was this incredible spot. Watching the sunset like come up over Hag Lake while the
That's
cars
called
are
a
there.
sunrise.
Yeah, it comes up.
Sunrise. Yep, sunrise. It was
up.
very, very Overcrest vibe. I loved it. It felt like, and I know that there was a couple people that were super complaining about getting up early. You know, we every single year we get these emails. It's so early. Can I have a refund? No, you cannot have a refund because you don't want to roll your lazy ass out of bed and come out like everybody else made it. You can make it too. No whining.
And it's so worth it. Like,
God, is it ever?
just the sun coming up there, the way it hits off the clouds usually, or it's just foggy, which is like, I love that too. But that is truly like my happy place that's accessible. So like, you know, I have other happy places on earth. They're just like hard to get to. But that one, it's an hour from my house. I can get there in the morning, have my coffee, do a couple laps of the lake, which is just gorgeous, and just get home, have breakfast with my kids, or take a route like we took and have a great day just with that as the starting point. Like people who know me, like we're like, so we're driving around Hag Lake, right? Like, cause they all know that's my mecca of like, that's where I feel good, you know? And so like, you know, it was a little expected for people that are close to me, but what people don't do is do it at that time. I'm always the only person out there. I have never seen another car out there, or a sports car driving at that time.
You and the guys
Always just guys fishing, or the park rangers like checking to make sure the bathrooms don't have like a dead person in it or whatever, because you know this is Oregon.
So we hung out there, and then everybody split off and started to drive. And I've got kind of like this little montage of this beautiful footage with some prophetic and music that I'll play for you guys, and then we'll continue on with the story as we go. I was pretty like excited at that point. That's Gobbler's Knob, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, that's Gobbler's Knob.
Fuck, it's beautiful, man. That was about probably 25-30 minutes into the gravel route, probably. Well, for me it was 25-30 minutes.
Like when you finally get on the gravel road, like so it's probably like an hour and a half. No, not even an hour from Hag Lake.
We didn't even do the loop of Hag Lake. I was following. Well, first of all, that car on tarmac is really bad. Really, really, really bad. The caster is wrong. The alignment is wrong. The tires are wrong. But it's not what it's built to do. So it's not built for that. So judging it on that merit is totally unfair. But I was happy to not be on tarmac. I'll say that.
Like to his original point, the builder, like my side-by-side sucks on tarmac. So
yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So I wasn't judging on that. It's the thing where you turn the wheel and it doesn't even return back to center, like a caster or something. It's just the way that is. It's okay. So I was really excited to just get on gravel as soon as possible. That was my thought. Is from the second I got in it at Shimon is to just get on gravel as soon as possible. This is what the car is built for. This is how it is. And the first turn on the gravel was amazing. That car is so fun in the gravel. If you and you have to like grab it by the scruff of the neck and shake it around to have fun. If you just try and drive it super nice, it'll understeer. But if you give it the throttle and you get into boost and you clutch kick it, it is extremely, extremely fun in the car. So about so we leave Gobbler's Knob and we drive maybe 1/8 of a mile. I'd been driving behind. Oh, first of all, I'm freezing. It's cold. I am covered in dust. I'm hacking already because I'm driving behind Brock in 944. I'm covered in dust. My glasses are covered in dust. I can't see. I've got my hoodie up. My hoodie is brown. I'm like 25, 30 minutes in, and I'm like, well, this is just how it is. You know, this is just how it is. You know, I've been in a lot of like really shitty circumstances in cars. It's fine. I've been in where I'm soaked and I'm driving for hours soaked with my underwear soaked to my leg and wet feet and everything. You know, I've been in cars with no heat when it's 25 degrees out and you're driving for hours. And you're taking your jacket off and wrapping it around your feet because your feet are frozen. All kinds of different scenarios. So it's not a big deal. I'm like, it's going to get warmer. It'll be fine. So probably about, I don't know, a quarter mile, half mile down the road from Gobbler's Knob is this bridge. And I kind of go through and I go down and go over this bridge. I'm like, oh man, this bridge is sick. There's like a little river that goes underneath it. The sun is shining through. It is scenic, like to the max. It's really, really, really pretty. And I'm like, okay, I got to set the drone. So I go over the bridge, I turn left, and I park the car. And I get out, I grab the drone out of the trunk and put the drone up in the air, get it set. I see Andrew Ritchie's right over here. I'm like, yo, dude, what's up? He's like, oh, and he's like filming the car and filming me pull up and stuff like that. And I get the drone ready, and then I go to get into the car, and I go to put it in reverse so I could turn around and drive over this bridge and film it. And it just dies. The car dies. It can't. I'm like, what's going on? So I remember like leaning over to like look because something didn't feel right. And I grabbed the steering wheel as I was leaning out of the car to look at the front wheel. And the whole car like shifted sideways. I'm like, oh, that is really not good. That's really not good. What is going on? And I can show you what it looked like from Andrew Ritchie's. See it there. If you watch the front left wheel, this is the moment the car broke. He caught the moment the car broke is when I was pulling up to park to get out to film. Here, right there. That was it. Let me. Wow. This is the carnage here. So you see there, that's the control arm, which looks to me a little thin. The metal here is a little thin, and it's split right on the weld of the part
that's the housing for the bushing. The bushing is still on the
capture
subframe.
The capture loop for the bushing.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So somehow it just completely split on the weld.
Wow.
My guess is it was been like this for a while, and I just happened to be the guy. It could not have broke at a better time.
Right.
If this would have happened at almost any other point, the car would have been totaled, and I would be seriously injured or dead. Because
that is the scary part.
This is what I would call a catastrophic failure. The fact that it broke like this and didn't send me off the side of a cliff,
right,
is really
very lucky.
Something. I feel really, really blessed that it didn't. I don't know if I have any other. Oh yeah, I've got this clip right here. That's it. She's done. That's all she wrote, Kenny.
It was fun while it lasted.
It was fun while it lasted. Sorry I broke your car, man. And we are now we're right next to Gobbler's Knob, which, what a name for a place, man. What a name.
Yeah.
I felt like
fitting.
I
figured it was fitting for Overcrest, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I was gobbling a knob right there. So we had a couple guys with. We kind of like, oh God, that's not what I meant to say. We got a couple guys with us, and we're like, okay. My first instinct was, how do I fix this? Like,
Right.
what do I? Because that's always my first instinct. Is like I've MacGyvered stuff back together many times. And we're looking at it, and I go, I could probably ratchet strap it together. You know, there's a ratchet strap in the trunk, and I'm thinking to myself, I could ratchet strap this thing together and drive at like 1 mile per hour and get it out of the woods. Right? I'm like, I could probably do that. And then I kind of go, it's not my car. Should I do that? And I'm kind of like ping-ponging back and forth of like trying to figure out a way to like recover this guy's car, limp it out, and figure it out, because I didn't want to leave it there because it's like super rural. But then I'm thinking to myself, this, where it was like it's pulled off to the side of the road. It was like a really good spot. You know, it's not that far into the gravel. 30 minutes or so, 30, 45 minutes or so into the gravel section, really far out the other side, like super far. And I go, I don't want to be driving this thing against rally traffic on the way back. So that means I have to, because you don't want to drive against rally traffic. It's just a rule. You just don't. You don't do out and backs. You don't drive against rally traffic. You don't want to run into somebody that's sideways or whatever. You just don't want to do it. It's just, it's a rule. You don't drive against traffic. So like that means I have to drive out the other side. So I asked one of the guys, it's like, how far is it? And he's like, it's like 18 miles or something like that, or whatever it was. It was far. It's like 15 to 18 miles. I go, oh my God, I can't. So if this ratchet strap breaks or fails 5 miles from now, and it fails in a spot, because you cannot drive it like this. You can't just like, you can't pull it over. You can't do anything. You cannot drive. You can't turn the wheel. You can't go forward, because it just, the whole assembly like just starts swinging back and forth and dragging on the ground. You're going to break more stuff. You're going to rip the strut tower off. You're going to break the upper control arm or whatever. You just cannot drive it. You can't. You cannot drive the car. And I'm like, I don't want this thing to get stuck on like some sort of switchback or some sort of narrow part of the road, and then it's blocking the road. And we're screwed, right? I didn't want to leave it there. So I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Like, I guess I'll call the guy. I'll get back into service and call him and see what we can do. So I hop in with Andrew Ritchie. So I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, this doesn't go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. I was trying to debate, where do I put the keys? Like, there's this little mesh thing behind the headrest that I could have hidden the keys. And I'm like, no one's taking this thing. I'll just put the keys in the sun visor. It's easy to find. No one's driving this thing anywhere. It cannot move. So I put these in the sun visor, hopped in with Andrew Ritchie, and we drove to Tillamook, where there's that big air museum thing, or the museum. I call Trevor, and I'm like, dude, the car is broken. I don't know what to do. It's not mobile. What do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know. I said, I have AAA. And I said, I can call them and I can get this thing towed out for you. Or if you want money, I can pay a company to come get it. What do you want me to do? I'm here. I will give you whatever support you need to get this car out of this situation. I am so sorry. It's not my fault the car broke, but I was sure as hell using it. And he was already gracious enough to let me use the car for nothing. It's pretty incredible to do that. So I was trying to, figure out a way to make it right. And he goes, don't worry about it, dude. I've got a guy at this, I think, like Toyota dealership or something. I got a guy at this Toyota dealership. Don't worry about it. I got it. I go, are you sure? He goes, I got it. Don't worry about it. I said, do not spend any money getting this car out. I have AAA. Do you want me to call them and have the thing extracted with AAA? They will go get it. I have RV AAA. They'll go get it. No, it's good. I got it. All right, man. Good luck. Hung up the phone. And gosh, man, this is really hard, Steve. I don't really know how to approach this. I was kind of just going to roll through the episode and kind of ignore what happened next, but I don't. Now it's kind of like it's in our Discord and people are talking about it, and I don't really know what to do or say, or
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really know, and most people that are listening probably don't know. But there's just let's try to keep it to a minimum here.
Yeah, it
Um,
just it sounds from my perspective like the owner then later was maybe frustrated with how things were left, and I don't know where the disconnect was,
yeah,
but
I don't know. I
that's
offered AAA and money, and there was just a lot of anger. Like you just abandoned my car. You just abandoned it, and I don't feel like I did that. I don't feel like I abandoned the car. I don't even really know what to say. I'm really wounded.
yeah.
I'm truly wounded and hurt. Um,
Because I think
yeah,
if I can interject, we don't ever want to be the person that takes from someone. We don't ever want to be, you know, we are doing so much, at least it feels this way, to try to like create the community and do good by others and support people.
yeah,
And we don't ever want to be thought of as not doing that. And so I think maybe that's what's so frustrating to us is yeah, like we want to do right by people, especially those that are so gracious to us and in this community.
and
Um,
I feel bad, man. Like
yeah,
the guy's car broke. He let me use it. Like I felt horrible. I feel really wounded right now by what was said. I feel really truly hurt. That's about as much as I can say is that I feel hurt. I don't want to try and argue about it or start a fight with anybody. That's not who I am anymore. I mean, 10 years ago I would have dropped a nuclear bomb on the guy's house, but now I've grown up. I'm just hurt now. That's it.
yeah. So here's where I'm at with it, and I haven't had a chance to speak to Trevor. He told me he's not wanting to chat. Um, you know, hopefully I'll be catching up with him today. He said he might have some time if he's feeling okay to talk about it. But here's where I'm at, like in my life with this kind of stuff. I've never been put on blast like this before. Um, Certainly, what happened wasn't intentional. And I think like at this point in my life, even with this going on, this circumstance, I'm approaching this situation with Trevor with kindness, right? Because you never know what's going on in somebody's
You
life.
never know. You never
You
know.
never know. And if that's the outlet for him, it's the outlet for him, and it's unfortunate. But like, what I would like to say is, I have not had a chance to speak to him, so I'm not gonna trash
Yeah.
the guy.
Yep.
I'm sure. Let's acknowledge a couple points here. It takes a lot of work to put on a rally. You're getting pulled in a million directions. At the end event, like I should have texted Trevor. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
should have reached out and been like, "Hey, dude, how'd that day end up?" But you're caught up with all these people getting pulled in a million directions, and dealing with the restaurant people, and
Yep.
and then you guys know what happened to me there. Like my back crumbled,
Yeah.
oh
just
no.
from driving all day and standing, and I just got to a point where like I was like not comfortable. And I get home, what was it, 11 o'clock or something? I can't even remember. And I sit in my garage. And Cliff and I, my college roommate who joined the trip and drove the support vehicle, we're just sitting there reminiscing about the day, like, God. And I say to him, "Oh shit, I didn't reach out to Trevor. I need to text him right now." And it's like 11:45.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to text him right now. I don't know if he's awake. And like, it's like kind of like outside of communication hours for an acquaintance. You can maybe text your
Right.
homies at that hour if you know they're up, but like I don't really
Yep.
know Trevor. So
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wake up and I'll hit him first thing in the morning with a phone call and just make sure everything's good. But you wake up and this stuff is out there. And
I remember I walked out of the
I, you
coffee shop.
know,
It was like 9 in the morning. I walk out and I had intended to message him the next day and check in and see how everything went, but I walk out and I just see that he's very, very mad. And
yeah, so this is the timing, right? Like, so it's 9 in the morning for you. Like when you saw it, it was maybe like I don't know, 8:45 when I saw. I don't know, I can't remember the exact time, but like I had just gotten up. I'm doing my morning number two, and just like, oh no,
oh no.
dude. And
In the vein of you never know what's going on in people's lives, I'm dead at this point. I did air water. I had my grandpa's funeral, and then I spent 4 days cleaning out all his stuff, loading up a moving truck, driving all the way home. 6 hours. No, well, it's normally a 6 hour drive. It was 7 or 8 hours in this moving truck. I got home, went to sleep immediately, woke up 4 hours later, and unloaded this truck by myself. This moving truck of all this stuff with engines and toolboxes and bench vices and hutches and couches and shit. Jesse can't help me. She's got a bad back. So I unloaded all this stuff by myself, turned around, got in a plane, and came to Daypass. I barely had 3 brain cells to rub together.
You know, and all this stuff is context, right? It's not, let's not like make excuses or whatever.
It's reason.
It's just context.
It's reason.
It's just reality.
Not excuses.
Yeah.
It doesn't make anything better.
No.
But it gives context. And
so, yeah.
I don't want to spend too much. I don't want to spend any more time on this.
Well, I just want to say one more thing, you know? I'm going to make my best effort to communicate with Trevor and just, you know, have a conversation about like what happened and how he feels about it. And, you know, maybe it will make it better. Maybe it will, but
well,
you know,
Trevor, if you're out there, man, he doesn't want to text me anymore. I apologize profusely via text, asked him what I could have done better. He just wanted me to reach out and I didn't. I said, I'm sorry. If he wants to reach out to me, I'm happy to talk.
Yeah.
I don't hold grudges, so just call me, man. I'm here.
Well, this is like, you know, for me, it's like, it's sad to see the world moving in this direction where we just put people on blast without a conversation. You know, like you know, I would like to think that if we had talked the community before he posted about how things went down, that things would have been different. And hopefully, you know, I'm not going to say we're going to like win Trevor back or anything, you know, like, but, you know, hopefully we can just have a nice, respectful conversation and just understand each other and where we're at.
Sometimes I don't
like, I think the world
the
needs to do more of that. Like the world needs to do more talking, and it's okay to like not totally agree as long as we both understand where each other are coming from.
Right.
Like that, I wish for all of the world to like get back to, because right now we're just like put in these camps and they're trying to make us fight.
And it's tribal.
And that's the strategy. They're winning if
tribal.
we're doing that.
Yeah.
And like, let's not do that as a people anymore. Let's just like, if we disagree, it's like, all right, you know, see you next time.
You know, it becomes
hope
like
you have a great time on the road,
thing.
you know?
You know, I've gotten my inbox is just blown up with people that hate me now.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like I've never seen people like actually troll an account before, but they're going through my old photos and making comments. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, do you have better things to do?
It's sad. Like
then,
I am not the person that is being depicted, and people think I am, and they're like sending me DMs that they hate me, and you know this,
or making public comments that like my parents see. It's like, dude, like, you know, like, come at me, but like, you know, I just think this world is like there's so much negativity out there. If you're spending your time putting more out there, man, I wish for you some happiness in your life.
Yep.
That can like turn it around, because like that is an outlet for, I feel shitty, I need to make other people feel shitty. And there's
a silver lining,
you know,
which was that poor Kenny, we wanted to hang out, and so we had to split because there's just not enough room. So he went with a Zudinus Volvo, and then I went with Andrew Ritchie, who's been on a bunch of Overcrest events and is just an incredible creative guy. Like his videos that he makes of his journeys are 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. They're so good, and he's such a talented photographer. So he has a GC8 JDM STI with a 6-speed manual transmission on it. It's like, what is that block, Steve, that we discovered that it's like some super.
Is it an IAG block? Is that what we were talking about?
I think so.
Because they're the ones who build the dope Subi engines.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a super crazy motor, and he's like, yeah, man. This is, you know, I kept it at like 250 horsepower because I wanted it to be reliable. And then we were driving along, and he's going through all these gravel roads, and this thing is so sick. It feels tight, it feels good, and it's doesn't have a ton of turbo lag. And then we get out onto this tarmac, and he rips it, and I'm like, dude, no way is that 250 horsepower. You sandbagging ass dude. He's like, that was only like half throttle. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's only half throttle. So he rips it, and there's no way that thing doesn't have less than 350 horsepower.
Yeah, is it like
No
250 wheel or something?
I don't care, 250 my nuts. There's no world in which that thing has anywhere near 250 horsepower.
Wow.
Anyway, it was awesome to connect with Andrew and do the rest of the event. It was. I don't generally like driving with people because I can get kind of motion sick. But it was cool driving around and seeing some of the landscape from a passenger princess point of view, which is not usually me.
Yeah.
Oh man. I think my favorite part of these roads, and I was trying to think of what I really like best, was there was this road that kind of, you see a lot of like felled timber, and where all the trees are gone, and then 100 feet you'll say, oh, planted 2003, and all the trees are grown. And we were kind of driving through one of these roads, and you come around this corner, and there's a wall of trees, and the road, I actually do have a picture on it, but I left my camera in Helvetia or whatever it's called.
Helvetia Tavern.
Helvetia Tavern. I left it there. But there's this road that curves around. It was like someone cut like a window into the forest, and you just drive right into it. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever driven to. I will remember that. I will remember that moment forever. And that was kind of the highlight for me in terms of scenery. I'm losing my voice for sure. I'm about tapped. But that was one of the more beautiful things that I see. And I'm really, really grateful for Andrew for helping me turn lemons into lemonade. It was really good.
Yeah, so like the thing you're talking about is green tunnels. That's kind of like the term I use. It's like that's a lot of the roads around here are totally covered with trees, and you just see like
The full canopy,
sun rays coming through the little gaps. And some of the feelings you get going through that is just like super incredible. Like for instance, like the tarmac route in the morning, Nestucca River Valley. That whole road is a green tunnel, essentially along a creek, a winding creek, like the memes were kind of hinting at. And there's like birch trees. And that was the first time I got to drive that road with like leaf cover, because I scouted it and it's all birches. There were no leaves in January and February. Now there's leaves, so it looked totally different to me. And that's one of the things I love about driving. You can take that road different times of the year, and it's gonna look different, like visually, completely. I cannot wait to go there during foliage season. Like when it's like yellow and maybe like a little red out there because it's birch, they're gonna go yellow, I think. Dude, like that's gonna rival Inyo National Forest to me. Maybe not with the scale of the mountains and snow around, but like that's kind of the vibe I think you're gonna get out there come October.
Speaking of your experience, Steve, I talked to Stephanie this morning, and she said it was, quote, a bucket list experience driving with you and just those roads. She had never been out to the Pacific Northwest in general, and she's like, Steve's car is so well set up. He's a great driver. She was like, I had everyone joking that, oh, did you bring your barf bag? Haha, driving with Steve. And she's like, but it was so just awesome. So
yeah, she was a great passenger. And like, let me just say, I didn't really see her grip for anything once, that's usually the experience I have when I take people for a ride and I go around my first corner with them.
Yeah.
So it was nice to even see like during the the super tight stuff on 53 before the sketchy gas station, tightest stuff of the whole route, probably like violent tight, like not only tight, but just like bumpy and like ridgy. And I mean, I think I noticed she was like pressing her feet on the floor harder, but like, that's it. Other than that, she was giggling the whole time. And that was awesome. That was just cool to see, because usually on these rallies, like I've had a photographer with me a couple times, like Kenny and stuff. And but but I've never had somebody with me like all day. So she got to see, you know, she got to see how I do it. And yeah, I'm glad she did. It was such a fun day. And
Yeah,
she's such a special lady,
she's
you
awesome.
know?
She was very impressed with your car, which she said was really well set up, which maybe you have some FCP Euro parts on there, but they are a retailer of OE, OEM, genuine aftermarket, and performance European parts. Of course, for European cars from BMW to Porsche, Volvo, Audi, Volkswagen, and more. They have over 275,000 unique products. They're shipping from both coasts. I actually just made an order this last week, and it's, I think, already on my doorstep. They have the really cool, like, all fully assembled kits where you don't have to figure out, oh, like what extra part or gasket or washer or bushing do I need? It's all right there per job. You know, if you have the oil change kit, which I sorted for the Macan, it has everything you need right in there. They even have, you know, like DIY tutorials for all of this stuff, which is super cool. Check them out at fcpeuro.com. Take advantage of free shipping on any order over $49.
Steve,
That was a good plug. I do have FCP Euro parts on my car.
Steve, tell
There
me
you go.
what's your suspension on your car?
My
What do you-
suspension is so my car is a 1986 Carrera with a coilover conversion on it.
from
so
who
when we-
makes this kit?
MCS,
Okay, who's
motion
who's-
control suspension.
Okay,
So actually I have one of the first sets of coilovers they made because I sent them my front spindles for their prototypes.
Okay.
So I've had them on since like 2017, and I'll take, Porsche drivers, guys that have driven a lot of 911s in my car, and they will be like, what is under here? The shop that set my car up, AR Auto Service in Lake Oswego, my hometown, they are the guys in Oregon that they can set up a car like nobody else. Like, so what they do, they have a service shop, but their real big business is the motorsports shop. They're factory support for maybe 6 IMSA teams. So these guys are like the suspension whizzes in town. And I'll tell you, man, like my car doesn't take a corner like a normal 911. It stays planted. It doesn't really bounce. It can go over very violent road surfaces and stay grippy. And that's why I can drive it like that. Like, I don't think I definitely could not drive a torsion bar car like I drive my car. There's no way. Because I'm on the gas really early in corners. And I mean, it's just that suspension's magic.
Do you think there's something lost in losing the torsion bars and the character and the identity of, I'm always stuck in this, like, yeah, there's always better, right? But is there, if I were to critique, it would be that, well, why drive a 911 then? If you don't,
well,
I say this
a lot of
it
it still feels like a 911. Potentially, so when I built this car, I built it because I thought I was gonna drive on track. That's because I was using my sim, putting tons of miles on it, and I wanted to be a great driver. And I was like, how do you get better in real life? Well, you go to the track, So I go to the track my first few times though, and yeah, it's great. I like it, but we're talking about like 20 minutes on, 40 minutes off, and doing like 4 sessions in a day or 5. Money is much better spent with Overcrest Productions and doing rallies because you're driving all fucking day.
Yeah.
You can take a break and go on the side of the road and get some water and do whatever else, but like, for my money, the rally experience is really kind of like what I was after. And that kind of like changed my usage of the car. I built it for one reason, but it really works really well for this other thing too. And the thing about my car, it's not ultra stiff. The suspension is set to pretty soft. It's a little softer in the front than the back, so I have like extra turn in. Definitely over a classic torsion bar 911. And I have very soft springs. So I can kind of go over these things and I'm not like bouncing off the road. I'm like, it's just a different feel. And my car like was a piece of shit when I bought it. The first time I drove
They all are, man.
Yeah. So the first time I drove it to work and I took the on-ramp onto I-5 from my town, and I snapped the like one of the rear mounts for the sway bar, like just snapped right off.
I ripped one of those off once.
And
pretty common.
That to me was the moment where I was like, now it begins, right? And what do I do with this car? So the interior was gross. So I spent the whole winter like ripping the interior out, getting those heavy seats out of there with a ton of motors in them. Ripping the sunroof didn't work. I ripped all that stuff out. And I just got it to a point where it was just a chassis in my garage rolling on wheels. And the engine was still in it, but it needed resealed. And that's when I kind of like let AR take over. And we built the car together, but I picked every little part on it. This was like my little art project. Well, really not really like an art project, because I'm not like, even though I'm a creative, I'm not like a full artist. I like want things to work. It's like function before form for me. Form should follow the function is kind of my philosophy. There's a lot of other guys in Portland. Chris Jury's one of them. His cars are like works of art.
Yeah, that thing
right?
is unbelievable.
Mine is a work of art for driving. His is a work of art to like look at and be like, wow, look at all these details. Yep. But if somebody knows what's good for driving, they can walk around my car and have that same kind of experience. Like, whoa, this guy knew what he wanted to get it driving the way he wanted. Do I wish, like, my dream one day is to have two 86s, and one is like stock and I daily it. And then I have this other thing that I take on rallies and drive early in the morning, or, when the roads aren't crowded. So I can have that true air cooled experience too. But man, like,
I'm in
it
like
drives
this
so good, dude.
Period, man. I'm in like this transition. I've got new wheels coming from Alterman. I bought a set. Like, I had to do it. I bought a set. So I've got new wheels, which means, okay, I've got new wheels. What tires do I get? I run 215 60 15 and 205 60 15 front and rear. It's a very hard tire size to find. It's basically like a stock
impossible
tire, right? It's tough. I think you get like General Ultimax, which is like, it's decent tire. It's fine for an all-season tire, which I like an all-season tire because I like things loose. I like to feel like I can slide the car around. I like being able to hit the gas, clutch kick, not break something, drift, hit the gravel. It still grips on the gravel a little bit. Like, I like all these different things. But at the same time, my rear struts are fucked. My front struts are also fucked. They're not dead, but they're almost dead. I've got RSR front spindles. So technically, I could put coilovers up there if I wanted to. It's there. The threads are there. It's ready. I got them because it changes the geometry up and brings things. You can run a little bit lower and have some more strut travel. But I don't really know what to do right now. I had my car was out in California, and like there was a huge clunk in the steering and something was super fucked up. So I had someone work on it, and I had a spacer kit for the steering rack to correct the toe geometry on the control arms or the tie rod ends. And he took that out when he put, like, we were just, whatever. It's not there anymore. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do this right, and I'll buy a proper tie rod kit to make my tie rods just level. Just level and exact. You can set them exactly where you want them. And now it's like too easy to turn. Like, the caster's not right. It's too light, and I don't really like how it drives anymore. And so I gotta, like, either I need to put it back to the way that it was. I'm really scared of going. I liked how it drove before. I liked how it drove before. It was because I've been driving the car for 10 years. I've put like 100,000 miles of road trips on this fucking thing. So I expected it to handle a certain way. And when I changed it and I put that tie rod kit on there, I was like, oh man, I don't like how it drives anymore. Like, I don't enjoy driving the car because it just doesn't feel right. I got to take it in and get an alignment done and see if they can add some caster to give me that feedback that I want. It feels like I have power steering right now. I don't like it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's fucking strange. I've got a upper strut bar in the front. Dude, I don't even know what size my torsion bars are. I have no idea.
Probably the stock size.
I don't know. The guy that had it before me put the strut bar in. It was lower. It had Panasports.
Okay, so maybe it has something on it.
It might have something. I got to redo all my bushings in the rear. The front's all new because I did a whole front pan on the car. Cut the car in half, welded it all together, did all that work. The rear I've never touched. I can look at the bushings and go, those probably need to be done.
I toasted mine on the road to air water.
Yeah, they're done.
Yep, I can hear a clunk sometimes, like low speed clunk, but you can see like the trailing arm bushings. There's like no bushing left. It's like metal on top of the housing. It's just like,
Yeah.
the center of the bushing and then the housing. It's just like that.
Yeah. Like sometimes if they get back, like you can flip them, turn them, and stuff. I've done that job twice. It sucks.
Yeah, I'm
Really
not looking
sucks to
forward to
DIY.
it.
It sucks to DIY.
Do I need to get an alignment after I do that too?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dude, and I just paid out I paid a lot for an
Yeah.
alignment.
Yeah, you've got to like take the whole trailing arm off, and the whole trailing arm comes off, and then that's where the torsion bar comes in and out. So you have to take that whole plate off, and then the bushing is there.
Yeah, so like I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh man, so I'm like, do I modify that piece or do I just put the stock bushing back in? That's kind of where I'm at with that.
What does modify mean? All of a sudden you're doing like an elephant racing spherical.
Everything else on my car underneath is elephant racing. That's like the only piece I didn't replace. Everything else is Tarot or elephant.
Yeah.
Like everything under the car.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know
my
how
last
to do that.
piece. It's like it completes the job, honestly, because it was good when I was building the car, so I left it. But now it's like toast.
Did you do all these things incrementally?
No, so when I had the car, I bought the car in 2015. I drove it for a little bit, and then I set it in my garage and ripped everything out. And then I gave it to AR, and I think I gave it to AR in March of 2017, and it was done in September of 2017. So, my car's gone through a couple evolutions with different seats in it. Now I have these awesome Shielmans. But like the original build is still there. It's the coilover, all the pieces are still there. There's very little things I've changed since that time. Yeah, it's just driven so good and it's been so reliable. I've had very few problems with it. Like I had a cam oil line issue that blew like 5 times that I couldn't figure out for a while, but then Heckman and Thiemann in town, Brian Reeves, one of the ralliers, helped me figure that one out. That was awesome. I had to have the top end rebuilt. I lost like all the rocker shafts had come loose, and I lost cylinder one, and I was about to lose 2 others, and we just caught it at the right time. That would have been a catastrophic like that. That's the kind of thing that like the car would have sat for a while while I stacked some money to fix it. But luckily, Heckman kind of figured out what was going on, and we were able to fix it before it was a bigger issue.
I think my
I'm super
fear
thankful
with
for that.
the suspension stuff is if I start, because I have a taller profile tire, if I start changing too much or stiffening up the suspension, it's going to pass the load to the tire.
Yeah,
You know what I
maybe.
mean?
Or
So
or you
I
set
like,
it up like I do and you set it up soft.
yeah,
Like
maybe.
AR and I had that conversation of like, hey, like how stiff do you want this thing? Are you like full race or are you like more like street track? And I was like, definitely street track, because like I do want to drive this thing not just on the track. But if you take my car on the track and you know those like red and white bumpers on the corners, you can go right over them, dude, in my car. Like I've had instructors be like, "Oh my God, get up on that curb. Your car can do it." The other 911s are taking one line and I'm taking another,
Yeah.
Which when somebody tells you how good your car is in a situation like that, you're like, yeah, I think I did something
That's
good
another
here.
thing I have trouble with is people have told me that my car really drives well and handles well. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, does it? I don't know. I've driven a bunch of cars and a lot of them don't handle well, but I like how mine handles. I'm scared to change things, but I'm bored too, man. I'm bored.
I think,
You know?
if before you make that decision, come drive my car and just feel it, you know? There aren't a lot of mods for power in my car. You can't do that much to a 3.2.
Yeah.
But holy shit, you can make it turn a corner like crazy.
All right. Well, maybe we'll figure that out. Dude, thanks
Yeah.
for hanging out with me. Thanks
Yeah,
for,
always glad to. And
again, thanks for all that you did. I'm looking
man,
forward
what a
to doing
special
more stuff.
experience. Thank you guys for the opportunity to share my backyard with everybody. That to me is like the best thing that came out of all this is the smiles on people's faces, the hugs I got. Not only from like friends I know that did the rally, like people I know well that did the rally and supported Donuts and Drip and Overcrest and what we're doing, but the people that I just met for the first time. It was a super special experience. I want to do more of it. If I could make a living doing it, I would do it in a second.
Well, we're pretty good at losing money, so if you want,
I mean, yeah, and so is Donuts and Drip. So we're kindred spirits in that way.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you. We'll see you down the road, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. Hey, thank you guys so much, and I'll speak for the ralliers, and that we say, thank you guys for what you do, and providing us a place to do it.
Yeah, man. All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you
All right.
next week.
Bye, everybody.